If you are into miniatures and you like weird and obscure miniature games, then this video will be perfect for you. Because today I got to play one of the weirdest and funnest miniature war games I've ever played. Phil came over and Phil brought something very special with him. He's just finished building an entire board full of terrain and all of the minis necessary to play Nekroplanet Grob, a really cool sort of retro sci-fi game, and it's by Anna and Ivan at Gardens of Hecate. And when I say this game is weird, this game is weird, man. So there's two factions. There's the Raiders and the Grobniks. Basically, the Raiders are trying to get into the Nekroplanet Grob, and they're trying to steal all of the treasures that some ancient alien race has left behind in their tomb world. So basically the whole planet is like a graveyard, right? But this long forgotten alien race, they actually build these machines, these robots, and they're called the Grobniks. And the Grobniks' job is to guard these tombs. So they're like automated, sort of a security system, right? I played as the Grobniks and Phil played as the Raiders, and we had such a great time. Before you play, you get to pick some models to field on the battlefield. And this is like a skirmish game, so you don't get too many. You get 5 picks of models, and I tried to choose the models that I thought looked coolest and were kind of the most special. So I ended up taking an assassin, a sharpshooter, a bulwark, a death ray, which is this awesome flying weirdo, and then I chose a sentry. And when you choose a sentry, you actually get to take 2 of them, which was pretty nice. So they were kind of like a little tag team. And Phil chose his raiders, and then battle commenced on the Necroplanet. He tried to break into my tombs and I tried to stop him. The biggest draw for this game, I think for most people, will be the amazing hand-sculpted miniatures. If you're a fan of the channel, you know that I love hand-sculpted miniatures. My first video was actually about that. It was actually about minis by Anna as well. And so you already know I love these. These are resin cast. I wish they were metal. That would be the one thing that could make them even better. But I know some people like the resin. For some people, the models being lightweight, that's like a plus. For me, I like them heavy, but they're still amazing models either way. I think both factions are actually really cool. The Raiders have this sort of retro sci-fi astronaut aesthetic that is very reminiscent of some old like horror movies. I think there's like some alien influence in there, kind of maybe like a 60s vibe, I guess, like a 60s or 80s vibe. And then the Grobniks are sort of a reimagined take on the Necrons. So they're like skeletons, but they're robots. And you know I love me a skeleton. So these were right up my alley. I had to take the Grobniks, of course. So fun. If you look at these faces, these are all like, they're all chunky. They're in these old school monopose poses. And I just love the charm of that. And I think it's all been brought together by Phil building this beautiful, beautiful board. I love it when people build boards inside of old picture frames. I think it's such a cool look and it makes it very easy to transport and store. He's done a great job of just utilizing some styrofoam balls for the terrain. These are obviously just styrofoam balls, nothing special, but I think it just really works. It just looks so otherworldly and sort of ethereal. These are like the forest terrain. And then this terrain is actually the sprue gates from the miniatures. So when you buy the miniatures, they come attached to large chunks of resin, and that is these. So all Phil has done is just glue those onto a base and use some texture paste, and I think they look great. None of this is sponsored, by the way. Nobody knows I'm making this video. I just really love the miniatures, and I'm happy to say I like the game as well. It was really fun. The rules are simple. You have like these basic, simple data sheets. They're nothing special. You're probably used to something along these lines. All the models in the game only have 3 stats, basically. So you've got speed, you've got HP, and you've got armor, and then you've got like maybe a melee attack, and then you've got an option for a ranged attack as well. Ranged attacks will have a range in inches, and then you have like an accuracy stat and a damage stat for each of those attacks that you have. And then some models get special actions or special rules to kind of make them a little bit more unique and a little bit more special. I really like this. It made it really easy to understand what each model did. I like that there's a low model count as well. There's not too many models, so I don't have to remember like a billion different rules. And each model sort of had a special rule that was very easy to understand and very well telegraphed by the model, right? So if you look at the model, you can kind of tell what it's supposed to be doing, right? My bulwark was good at like drawing enemy fire and suppressing enemy fire, and sort of like a tank that just sits in the middle and diverts attention. The death ray, the sort of the flying thing, just has a good movement stat and can ignore obstacles. My sharpshooter is really good at shooting, obviously. The assassin was great at like teleporting around and like doing a melee attack and stuff like that. The medic was healing people. All of this is like very easy to understand, and I think it made for a very, very fun game. I can imagine once you start having like dedicated scenarios or doing like more narrative play, it becomes really, really fun. Another thing I want to say is this is a game that would be really easy to just kit bash a warband for. You don't have to go out and buy these official minis. I love them, and I'm sure lots of you guys will appreciate this charm as well. But you don't have to go out and buy these to play this game. You could just make your own minis or use your other sci-fi stuff. The rules are super easy and lightweight. You can just have like a fun 1-hour sci-fi game with your buddies, which I really appreciate because my time is limited and there's a lot of games and a lot of minis that I want to check out every day, basically. I'll read you the flavor text for the Grobniks and the Raiders. The Raiders. Arriving from faraway systems, crews of grave robbers descend on the Necroplanet looking for plunder. They may be xenoarchaeologists, space pirates, corporate soldiers, cultists, looking for meaning of life. It's always an opportunistic crowd with ships and weapons, but they don't have it easy. They are welcomed by deadly robots, booby traps, hungry local wildlife, and hostile weather. The loot must be really worth it. And the Grobniks. Grobniks are machines manufactured by an ancient interplanetary civilization to guard their dead and the lavish riches in their tombs. Even though their makers are long extinct, they still protect the Necroplanet from spacefaring grave robbers. I love the idea of one player going into a place to basically ransack it and loot it, and the other player trying to stop them. It makes for a fun change of pace from the usual, we are at war and it's your army against mine, right? There's a little bit of a different motivation going on, which I appreciate. I really love how Phil has painted these models. It's a very simple but very effective paint scheme. He explained to me it was basically just base coating the models, doing like a layer of contrast paint over the weapons to darken those down, and then he just applied oil washes over everything. And with the board and the bases matching and the sort of grimy oil wash aesthetic on these with the pristine white sort of becoming dirty, I think it's a really effective look. I found these heads at Camping Kitbash and I attached them to some bases specifically for this game because I thought these would make for cool terrain or like objective markers or cover for Nekroplanet Grob, because the aesthetic of these skulls sort of reminded me of the sculpts that Anna did. So in the near future, I want to paint these and give them to Phil for his board because I think these would fit right in and would give some more Grobnik aesthetic to the whole board. Two more models I didn't show off in the video. These are the sarcophagi. I think these are really, really awesome as well. They float. They're so cool. I just love the aesthetic so much. So what do you think? Let me know. Are you Team Grobnik or Team Raider? Are you tempted to buy some of these models for yourself, or are you gonna kit bash some? I actually don't know if the rules are available for free. Knowing Anna, I'm guessing they probably are. I'll find out, and if they are, I'll put a link in the description. Sometimes it's just really nice to be able to sit back and play a game where some other person has done all the work to make it look awesome. In between my own hobby projects, that's something I really appreciate. The whole game is played with just simple dice rolls. You measure everything in inch, so all your usual wargaming equipment will work for Necroplanet just fine. You don't need a lot of space to play. You don't need too many models to play. I think this is like a perfect little skirmish game for those of you that don't want to get invested into another giant ecosystem. The game is also finished. I don't think there's any plans for more models coming out. So it's just a nice sort of well-rounded package that you can get invested in for like a couple of weeks, and then you've got everything you need to play, and then you can just put this on the shelf and get it out whenever you want to play. And you can rest assured knowing that there's no FOMO going on, there's no new giant releases that you get tempted by. I think that's becoming sort of rare nowadays. Everybody wants their game and their models to be like a giant IP that people buy into, and then it becomes like a forever thing, right? And so I can appreciate when somebody just makes something and then that's what it is, right? And in this case it's sick, so you know. So there you go, Nekroplanet Grob. I had so much fun playing. Thank you to Phil for bringing all of his beautiful painted stuff and explaining the rules to me and being very patient while I set up lots of camera angles. Thank you members for supporting the channel. If you want to, you can become a member as well. If you sign up, you gain access to our exclusive Discord where we have like our own hobby hangouts and share our projects and our inspiration with each other. You also gain access to exclusive videos. So if that's your jam, you can sign up right now. Any tier gets you into the Discord. That's it for today. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.